Hope you all had a good day yesterday. And so today we are going to go in depth again into the Oracle Fusion Financials Cloud. But before we go into the detailed aspects of the application again, yesterday I would like, we had discussed on some of the aspects, for everyone's understanding. So basically, I will just quickly touch base on those aspects because I believe there were certain other questions by people who had joined the session yesterday. So I would like to just touch base on those aspects again so that there is a clarity in your mind regarding what are the things that we are about to do as part of our Oracle cloud financials training. So basically, as we discussed yesterday, that the training program that we are going to be the part of the things that we are going to learn as part of this training program is basically to make you proficient with or familiar with or get you ready for the role of Oracle financial consultant. Okay, so basically or we call it as functional consultant. Okay, the role basically is called the functional consultant role. Now, what does the meaning of functional consultant or what is meant by functional consultant is in that particular role when you get hired, okay, in the organization, you would be responsible, okay, for carrying out the configurational aspects, okay, and also as part of the configurations, once any configuration has been done with respect to the financial applications, okay, again we are focusing, our focus is on the fusion financial applications. Okay, so the financial applications will have to be configured as part of the finance functional sorry, finance functional consultant role. As part of that particular role, our task would be, okay, we would be training on the tasks of configuring the applications, the financial applications. Okay, and then once we have configured the financial applications, our task would be to even test it out. Okay, why test it out? Because the configurations that you would be doing, okay, you would be doing based on the requirement by the client. Now, who is a client? The client is that particular business organization who is going to purchase the licenses for the Oracle applications, the SaaS applications which I talked about. Okay, software as a service license that they procure, under which they will get the accesses, okay, to use the applications for financials and for supply chain and all the other streams. But that too particularly with we would be concerned with what the financial applications, that is general ledger application, the accounts payable application, receivable application, similarly cash management, fixed assets. These are the modules we call it, or applications that we call it under financial suite that we will be training on. And in turn, basically as functional consultants, we will be responsible to configure these applications and then also do the testing of it. Okay, testing why? Because we need to make sure that all the application has been configured as per the requirement of the business who has procured those licenses. And then in turn, we will make sure the testing, in the testing, we will make sure that they are able to carry out the processes, okay, the transactional processes as per their business process, the business processes that they are following for the financial activities. Okay, we will test it out as functional consultants. And even once the testing is complete, our role as functional consultant, okay, would be to train the business users. Okay, train the business users means basically, the business users, they might not be knowing the Oracle ERP because it is implemented for them. Okay, they might not be knowing it. Okay, so we will have to train them on how to utilize these applications to carry out their day-to-day business activities, or the financial related activities, because we are talking about the financial applications. Okay, so that is what our role in the organization would be. And the organization, as in, as as part of the service provider organization, you will be hired as a functional consultant, and in turn, you will have to carry out these activities in the implementation process. Okay, so for that, we need the knowledge of what? Configuring the applications and also doing the transactional processes. And that is where our course, okay, our course curriculum is designed in such a manner where for each application, okay, the each application that we would be is that is part of our course, that is general ledger, AP, AR, FA, and cash management. For each of these applications, we have the activities listed out in this manner. Okay, so basically, I believe my screen is visible to all of you, right? Can anyone confirm, please?
Yes, yes, you are able. Yes.
All right, thanks. Okay, so this is how basically in each of this application, let's take into consideration the GL as an application. So for GL, first we will learn how to configure the general ledger application. So all the basic configurations that you see, okay, like here we have creation of the accounting calendar, okay, creating or enabling the different currencies in which the transactions are to be carried out, okay, or recorded, let's say. Okay, then there are certain aspects like creation of ledgers. Ledgers are what? Ledgers are basically books of accounts where the financial data is entered or the accounting is being done. Okay, the accounted balances are being stored. So creation of the ledger, which is also called the books of accounts. Similarly, creation of legal entity, because there are companies involved, legal entities involved as per the legal registration that they have in a particular jurisdiction. Okay, so all these are different kinds of setup that you will see as part of the general ledger, okay, application. So all the basic setups that are required to enable the application for use by the business. Now once these basic configurations are completed, the list of configurations are completed, you will have to perform the transaction. Okay, without knowing what are the different kinds of transactions or the generic transactions that you can perform in the application, you cannot utilize the application, right? So basically, as functional consultants, since you are going to train for that particular role, you need to be aware of the different transactions that can be carried out in the particular application. So yeah, definitely, in any case of any kind of software that we use, once it is installed, okay, we use it, right? Basically, there are certain activities that we do as part of that application. Same thing is applicable in case of ERP also, ERP modules as well. So in general ledger application, with respect to the general accounting, okay, so general accounting department related tasks are there, processes are there. So with respect to those processes, there are certain specific kinds of transactions, okay, and processes that can be performed in the general ledger application. Okay, like you can see here, creating the journals, okay, posting the journal. So now people who are from the accounting background, they will know these aspects, they will understand these aspects, like there is a journal entry that has to be posted. Okay, these are all activities that are carried out in as part of the general accounting department in the business. Okay, and hence this is again part of what the general ledger application, posting of ledgers. Similarly, creation of reports, publishing of reports, okay, management reports basically, and many other activities and processes. So as part of that, we will see the transaction processes as well, how to carry out certain transaction processes. Also, there would be in between certain other setups which would be required for carrying out a certain transaction, certain type of transaction, that also we will simultaneously understand. So this would be part of our general ledger application. Similarly, in case of AP, that is accounts payable module. Once we start with the accounts payable module, first we will see what are the basic configurations that are required for the accounts payable module to be put into use. Okay, so to make it active or make it usable, we will have to understand what are the configurations with respect to the business who has procured the license for accounts payable module. What are the things that has to be configured first in the application to make it usable? Okay, so that business users later on can carry out the transactional activity. So these are all different setup tasks that you can see. Okay, like a familiar one, or a very in a layman terms, one of the setup that you can understand is like creating a supplier profile. So accounts payable is with respect to what? With the vendor invoicing aspects and payment aspects, right? So that for that basically there needs to be a vendor detail first of all configured in the application. Vendor data needs to be there. So for that, what are the setups required? Similarly, for carrying out the invoice creation activity, okay, there are certain setups that are to be in place for the application. Okay, so those are different kinds of setups that you see here. Okay, so those setups, whatever are the required setups, okay, that will be configured first. Okay, and then our application will become active for use. Okay, and then once that is done, we will see the transaction process. We need to be familiar with what are the different kinds of transactions that can be performed as part of the accounts payable module, right? So like, we can, people can, who are from the accounting background, finance background, or even, people who have been familiar with those processes, you will understand that there is an invoice creation activity that is done for every, with every vendor that you are, dealing. Once you have got the material or got the services, they will send out an invoice. Okay, now that invoice has to be recorded. So that is our transaction process. Okay, then later on, those invoices have to be paid. Okay, so that is again a transaction process related to payment. Okay, so all of these things we will have to see, we will have to perform. First of all, we need to understand the transactional processes as well. Okay, so that is where we will see once the configuration has been done with respect to AP, the transactions, what are the different kinds of transaction, what are the different reportings that can be done. All these activities we will understand as part of the accounts payable module. Okay, similarly with respect to AR, it's all about customer billing, as I had mentioned yesterday. So first of all, we will enable the accounts receivable module by doing the required configurations. Okay, all this is a list of required configurations on the left hand side. So these setups we will see. And once it has been enabled, okay, the configurations are complete, we will see the respective transaction process that you can do as part of the accounts receivable application. So generally it is all the customer related invoices, certain other adjustment transactions related to customer billing. Similarly, the customer payments, how it can be created, how it can be processed, okay, how the customer payments can be applied against the invoices. All those processes we will see how to perform in the in the accounts receivable application. Similarly, with respect to fixed assets, okay, what are the required setups for enabling the fixed asset module, that we will have an understanding. Okay, and then later on after that, what we will see is the transaction process. What are the different types of transactions as part of the fixed asset department that are to be performed? Okay, how it can be performed in the ERP, that you will see. Okay, similarly with respect to cash management. Okay, so cash management is all about what? All about the bank related, transaction. So bank related means basically, there is a bank statement generated, and you receive those bank statement, and then you reconcile those statement. These are all done as part of the treasury or bank reconciliation department. Okay, so those activities related to bank, first of all, what are the setups required, that we will see. Okay, then what are the transactions that can be carried out as in the cash management module, that we will have a look at. So basically, all these applications, GL, AP, AR, FAN, cash management, these are the applications that are part of the scope of this training, which we will understand all of these aspects one by one. And in turn, once you complete this course, basically with respect to these application, you will become capable enough to handle the configuration of the application as well as the transactional processes. Okay, which is generally the part of or the activities that are to be performed as part of the functional consultant. Okay. So this I wanted to explain again. The reason being, yesterday you might have understood it, but then at a higher level you might have understood. But then in detail I wanted to explain this. So that is the reason I have taken this up as starting. Okay, in the beginning itself to highlight on these aspects. Any questions related to this, or any question you have related to yesterday's session? We can discuss it quickly right now. Anything that you would like to understand before we go into the details?
Uh, thanks, thanks, Chandhu. Actually, not much, but while you are sharing these documents, you are able to share this the curriculum also, right? All the Excel sheet.
Yes, we will be sharing it.
Okay, fine. That's fine.
Yeah. So all this curriculum, the entire curriculum, we will be sharing it, and this is kind of a high level, topics or things that we will be covering as part of each of the application. Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions from anyone else? Anything?
Hi, Chandru. Kiran here.
Yes, I can.
So what is that implementation life cycle, which is in the last tab of the sheet?
Implementation life cycle. Yesterday, I had explained, in the last slide, if you remember, how the implementation basically cycle or the project phases are. So there is a project that you will enter into. Every client that procures a license for the SaaS application. SaaS means software as a service, which we had understood. Okay, so there
Okay.
is an implementation process that, or a project basically, that they go through. Okay, so these are the phases basically at a high level.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
basically there is a project kickoff, and then requirements are analyzed. Basically, what is the business requirement, and all these we would understand, and then we would configure the application for pilot testing. Pilot testing is like demo testings are there, right? So basically for that we will do it. Then there are certain documentation involved, which we will in turn even after we have configured it, we will show the client. Okay, so these are the setups as a setup demo setup that we have done. Okay, if you are they will analyze those setups, and they will check if the transactions are working. We will actually display them. Okay, we will actually show them this is how you can perform the transactions. Then there will be a discussion around it, like okay, this is what they are satisfied with, they are not. Then there are certain tasks or processes that they are not satisfied with, they have further requirement in it. Then in that case they will discuss it out with us, and then based on that we will again do the changes in the setups, and we will go for round two of pilot testing. And once pilot testing 2 is completed, again, if there is any gaps, okay, in
Okay.
what we have required and what we have configured, we will fix all of them, and we will finalize the configurations. Okay. And then there will be a key user training. So basically, key people from the organization and from each department, we will train them on each of the application. Like general accounting department people, we will train them on the general ledger application. Key managers and key supervisors. Okay, similarly, accounts payable department manager, supervisors, probably the key people, we will train them on the accounts payable module. Similarly, for receivable module, the same way, there will be a training for key users. Okay, once the key user training is completed, there is a user acceptance testing phase. Okay, so user acceptance testing basically, once we have trained them, the key users, what they will do is they will actually train their subordinates as well. Okay,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then they will actually test the system. Okay, they themselves will test, the business users, they themselves will test, so that in order to ensure that everything that they have asked for, okay, or everything that they do as a business process is being can be met, okay, with the ERP configurations that has been done. Okay, so
Okay.
basically they themselves will test out the AP application, the processes, the transaction processes, the GL transaction processes, the AR, cash management, and similarly any other application for that matter. They themselves
Okay.
list out, and then they will list out the gaps, and then they will give a go ahead for all those things that have been successfully tested. Okay,
Okay.
again we will enter into a phase where as a consultant, we will enter into a phase where we will try to fix the gaps that we have identified.
Okay.
Okay, and then comes the part where there is a data migration. Once we have fixed everything and everything is good to go, there comes a part of data migration. Okay, so data migration is a phase where basically the historical data, okay, that they might have in their earlier ERP, that has
Okay.
to be brought into the new ERP, into Oracle, let's say, because that is what we would be implementing. Okay, so that is a phase of data migration. So again, there will be activities that will be performed once we get the data from the business from the old system. We will we will upload it in the respective modules, and then the business users, they will check for the data accuracy. Okay,
Okay.
whatever they have provided, if that data has been correctly uploaded or not. So that is the data migration phase. And once the data migration testings have been done in the test environments. Okay, so basically all these activities that we have been doing until now, whatever we have discussed, will be done in the test environment. It will not be on the live production environment. We call it production environment.
Okay.
Okay, so it will not be on that. Okay, so once all this has been done, okay, the business, they will give us a go ahead. Okay, now everything that we have they have tested in the test environments, the configurations and everything is proper. Okay, and everything is good to go, and then we will actually do all those setups again in an environment which will be a production environment. Now, production environment is the environment basically where the business users will do the transactions, everyday transactions.
Okay.
Okay. And that is where even the data migration activities and data migration also will have to be done. The final data migration, which the business would have said, okay, everything is good, everything looks good in the test environment. Okay, then they will give us a go ahead, and that particular data we will upload in the production environment as well. Okay, and then finally, once all these activities have been completed in the production environment, we actually release that environment to the business for utilization, so that they can go ahead. Now, from that point onwards, they will start using the application to carry out their day-to-day business functions or business processes. So that is what the phase of production release is. And then once the production release is done, then on the production environment, they will need support. That is the phase of hypercare and support. Okay, so hypercare and support means basically just like, any other any device that we purchase. So there is, if at all we face some glitches, we call the customer support, right? So the same way for ERP also, there is a support team behind, okay, who will actually assist the business users in case they face any issues in the production environment.
Okay, got it, Chandhu.
Okay, so this is the entire cycle, basically.
Okay.
Implementation life cycle.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the things that you will face once you have completed, once you enter into such a career or in that particular job profile of Oracle consultant job profile. Once you enter, you will go through all these phases if it is an implementation project that you would be assigned to. Okay. So yeah, that is where our training would help you, because the implementation means basically you are entering into that profile, and that profile requires you to do the configurations as well as do the testings and all those activities. So that is where you need to be aware of those things, those application configuration. Similarly, the application transaction processes, you need to be aware, and that is what we will be training for in this particular course.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions before we start into the application aspects? All right. Fine. So first, let's get familiar with the Oracle environment. Also, I talked about environment at length, right? So there would be a environment that will be available. Now, what is an environment, or we call it as an instance? Okay, it is basically the application login, okay, URL which which the client gets from the Oracle after they purchase the licenses. So this is so we have seen that yesterday, but again we will see today. Okay, so like this, there will be a URL that will be provided. Okay, this is an example of a URL, or we call it as environment or instance. Okay, so every client would purchase maybe 2 or 3 instances. So they will get 2 or 3 different URLs and different user IDs and password for logging into each of these applications. Okay, so as I mentioned that if they go through the implementation process, first of all, everything is done in the test environment. So basically, there will be test environment or instances that will be provided to each client who purchases the license, so that they can first of all do all those demo activities. Okay, demo testing activities that can be done, and everything can be finalized, and everything then in turn can be moved into the production environment where the business will carry out its day-to-day activities. So this would be the example of the environment or instance, we call it. Okay, and for each instance, for the admin, okay, there will be an admin person who will be given the instance access first of all. Okay, so they will have a user ID and password, which in turn can be entered, and then you can log into the application. And similarly, all users, all business users, business departments, employees who are going to carry out their activities in the application, all of them will get the user ID and password, which in turn they can utilize and log into the application, or to this particular environment you call it, or instance you call it. Okay. So now the instance that we are looking at is a test environment. or a development environment, basically. Why? Because this is not an environment that is actually used by a business. This is used for testing and training purposes. Okay, so that is what this particular environment is about. Okay, so I will log in with my credentials. Okay, first of all, as per for today's training purpose, or today's activities that we will be doing, we will get familiar with some of the aspects in the Oracle login, or Oracle application SaaS application login. Once we do it, okay, what are the common concepts, okay, or common navigations that we need to be aware about, that we will do to get familiarized with the application navigational aspects, okay, and the user interface. So let's log in into the application. So I will log in with my user ID. Okay, and I will enter my password.
Chandhu,
Yes.
can I ask a question?
Yes,
Bahadir.
yes.
Why they are taking 2-3 instances? What do you mean by instances?
So instances are environments, basically. Okay, so as I mentioned in the implementation life cycle. Okay, so in the implementation life cycle, right, I told you that there is a phase when there is, you understand the, sorry, 1 second. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Okay, so basically, I told you, right, in these phases, okay, basically what we are doing is, we are configuring the instance, we are doing a pilot testing or demo to the client. All these activities are done as part of the project, right? So basically that is done in a test environment. Okay, so instances, that is where I said they will get 2 or 3 instances, maybe two test instances, okay, or environments, and 1 production environment. Okay, so test instance is a place where they will carry out all the testing activities, okay, all the demonstration activities, okay, all of those things will be carried out in the test environments or test instances. Okay, and once everything has been done or properly configured in the test environment, and the business has business users, the key stakeholders in the business, all of them, they have understood the how the process works, and how the configurations have been completed, and how if everything is in order as per their business requirement. Okay, once they make sure of those things, what is done is, all those configurations are actually done in the production environment. Now, environment is something which will be utilized by the business to carry out their day-to-day activities. Now, if you do testing in the production environment, it is not a correct thing. Okay, no testing should be done in a production environment, because production environment holds the sensitive business data. If you do any kind of testing in the production environment, it will actually impact the balances, the financial details, the actual business process, it will impact. Okay, so that is why there is a separate instance or an environment altogether that is provided, and that is called a production environment, where the business carries out its live transactions, live day-to-day business transactions. It is not a thing to be played around with. Okay, so that is why there is a production environment separately, where it is specifically used to carry out their only and only the day-to-day business transactions. Okay, and nothing else. Any kind of testing that we need to do, okay, that will be done in the test environment or testing instance. Okay, that is why it is kept as 2 different. That is the reason every business, when they procure the license, they get multiple environments. Okay, some for purely for testing activities, and 1 will be for production, where the business carries out its day-to-day activities or day-to-day business transactions. Is it clear?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Fine. Now, let us get familiar with the Oracle application. So here we have logged into the application. Okay. This instance is there. This is a test environment where basically we do the training. Basically, we are doing testing activities only in short. Okay. So training activities we are doing. So therefore, this is the environment. Even you will get the access to this environment. Okay. Once you log in, this is how the login page would look like. Okay. So basically, there would be some message and everything that is again configured as per the business. Here we have a Oracle logo. Okay. Now, when businesses when we do the configuration for the business, here the business logo is uploaded. So each business, they will have their own logos. So that is what will be uploaded here in place of Oracle. Okay. So those are small setups, look and feel setups that are there. Personalization setups are there that are done basically to change the logos and all those aspects. Okay. So first, let us become now there are other aspects also here. You see that there is this search icon. Similarly, there is something called a home. Okay. Similarly, there is favorites and recent items are there. Now this is a watch list. Okay. Then there is this bell icon, which is for notifications. Okay. Then there is this particular icon, which is for settings and actions. Okay. Then this particular menu item. Okay. So this is called a navigator. Okay. So all these are there. So we will first of all become familiar with these aspects. Okay. So once you click on this home icon, okay, so basically this is the home page. Okay, home page of this particular SaaS application, where you will be able to see, okay, workbenches. Okay, this is called a springboard, where you will be able to see some of the aspects. So these you call see expenses. Okay, my team, my client group, these are all actually applications. Okay, different applications that this particular user has access to. Okay, on this springboard, basically you will get multiple different basically application accesses. Okay, so under each application, basically there would be set of tasks and all those things that has to be performed as part of the routine business processes. Okay, now so this is the home page. Okay, then you have this star icon. So star icon basically is to record the favorites. Okay, so there would be certain tasks and activities that you would be doing regularly based on your profile in the business. Let's say if it is an accountant, AP accountant, they have to frequently go to the invoice related tasks to perform the invoice transactions or record the invoice transactions. So they will do what? They will mark that particular page as favorite, so that they can navigate quickly from this particular favorites tab and click on that particular task, and it will carry them directly to that particular page. So if you are aware, this same functionality is there in Google browsers as well. So Google browsers, you can mark certain pages as favorite, okay, and or bookmark them, right? So basically, so that you can quickly navigate to that particular page without having to type in or go take one by one each step and then go to that particular page. So that is where you use the bookmark functionality or favorites functionality in the browser. The same thing is there in the application also. Okay, so all these favorite items and all these things are generally you will see in all applications. Okay, so even in banking applications, you would see that you want to you can mark certain transactions as favorite, so that you want to every time you want to perform that transaction, you can immediately go into that and perform that kind of transfer activities or payments. So the same way here in Oracle ERP also, we have the favorites and recent items. Some of them you can mark as favorite. Okay, some of the pages that you are working on, you can mark as favorite, and it will directly show it under the under this particular favorites folder, and you can move on to that particular page. Okay, similarly, recent items. So recent items, basically the recent activities that you would have performed. Okay, so based on that, it will show you the list. Okay, and then you can easily navigate to those tasks. Okay, so that is the favorites tab. Okay, then we have a watch list. Okay, so watch list tab. Now, watch list is what? Basically, basically you will see this terminology in case of stock applications. Okay, when you are operating Zerodha or like that, there are different platforms or applications that you are utilizing to manage your investments. So at that point of time, you will see that you can create certain watch lists to review the stock, movements, some of your favorite stocks. So that the same concept is here in case of Oracle ERP also. So there are certain, data components or data aspects, like, invoices in warning, or, journals in warning, that you want to frequently have a look at or monitor basically. Okay, so those things you can have added under watch list. Some of them will be available, based on your work area. Some of them will be available already. Like you can see here, some activities related to journals. It is in the watch list, like, incomplete journals you can review. Okay, so it is showing that there is one record under incomplete journals. So this is what you will have, different types of watch list based on the accesses that you have. Okay, based on the application accesses that you have, and based on the tasks that you are supposed to perform as part of each of the application, in each of the application, the tasks that you need to perform. Based on that, there will be a watch list available. Okay, so that you can monitor your certain aspects, certain processes, or certain documents. Okay, then there is bell notification icon. So any kind of notification that you would receive, the user ID, basically this user ID is basically an employee, okay, or a particular a person who has access to the business application. Okay, so any notification that that is received that by that particular user, okay, will be available here. Okay, so let's say, for example, a certain journal was sent to the manager for approval, okay, through the ERP, through the general ledger application. Now the manager approved it. Okay, so there will be a notification that will come to you saying that your manager has approved the journal. Okay, so that is where you will see some notifications here. Then there would be some other notifications related to, let's say, your user ID and password has been set automatically. Okay, then in that case, you will get a notification. Okay, so that notification will be displayed here. Okay, so this area or this particular icon is specifically to manage the notification. So these kind of things you see in all softwares and apps that you are using in day-to-day life. So same way, the same concept is there in Oracle ERP also. Okay, then this particular menu icon, this is basically called a navigator. So based on the different application accesses that a particular user has. Okay, so based on that, this particular area will show you all the application accesses, all the work areas, as we call it. Okay, so let's say, for example, this particular user is supposed to work on general ledger application. So he would have been granted that particular general ledger application access, and in turn, that general ledger application related work area will be available under the navigator. So here you can see general accounting. So all the work areas related to general accounting will be available here. Okay. So similarly, fixed assets, let's say fixed asset application access has been provided to this particular employee. Okay, then in that case, he will get an area from where he can go to the fixed asset, area, fixed asset to perform fixed asset transactions. Okay, so this is the fixed asset related work area that is available to the user. So this is the navigator basically. So navigator will give an access to navigate to all the different application for which the user has access or the employee has access to. Okay, so from this navigator he can do. So I have access to, because I am kind of a super user, I can say, or an admin user or an admin employee, administration employee. So I will have access to multiple applications. Okay, so that is where I can see all these applications available, and then under that there will be work areas. We call these as work areas. Okay, asset work area, asset inquiry work area. Okay, which will again give me certain tasks, or where under which I can perform certain tasks. Okay, so let's say, for example, when I talk about general accounting, okay, it is the general ledger application that I have access to, because of which I can see this particular general accounting workspace or work area. And under that, all the activities that I want to perform related to journals, okay, the transactions that I want to perform with respect to journals, I will get the tasks under this journal work area. So when I click on it, it will take me to the journal work area. See, and there is something called a task list here, okay, which will list down all the tasks that I can perform with respect to the journals. Okay, journal entries, creation of a journal entry, then reviewing the journal entry, then reviewing the balances. All these are activities that I can perform with respect to the journals. So this is available under the journal. This particular page I will call it as workbench, journal workbench, and this is the task list under which I can perform certain tasks related to journals. Okay, so this is how the navigator will help you to navigate to each of the sections. Just like in the banking application, when you go, right, there are certain sections which you can click and then further go into that, like, payments. So when you click on payments, you can, it will take you to the payments window where you can perform NEFT transaction, where you can perform IMPS transaction. Similarly, you can perform, credit card payments. Okay, so all these would be under what? The payments section. So similar way, you can relate it with that aspect. Okay, so based on the general accounting application access, you will get in the navigator, you will get access to the general accounting workspace. And under that, you will get the access to journals workbench, where you can perform all the activities related to the journal entries. Okay, similarly for fixed assets, similarly for receivables, similarly for payables. Okay, so this is the navigator to perform the transactions. Okay. Now, with respect to the setups, okay, so as I mentioned, right, where we are training for a part, like, for each application, okay, we need to perform setups, right, and then we will perform the transactions. So from the navigator, you can go to, those applications and perform the transactions. But what about the setups? From where can I perform the setups? So that will be available to you depending upon the access that has been provided, okay, under the settings and actions. Under settings and actions, you will get a task called setup and maintenance. Okay, and in the setup and maintenance, basically you will have all the activities that you can perform with respect to the application setups. Okay, so under here you will have the setup for financials. So do you see here financials? Similarly, if it is a supply chain consultant or a project consultant, then they will have access to their respective suite. So suite we have discussed yesterday, right? So there is a financial suite, there is a supply chain suite, there is a human capital suite. So based on that, basically you will get access to the suites here, okay, under the setup and maintenance. So for financials, we are concerned about financial application setups. So we need to select the setup offering as financials. These are also called as setup offerings. Okay, and all the tasks with respect to the financial setups you will get under here, that we will be seeing in the coming days. Okay, all the activities or setups that you need to perform. Okay, so these are in general, some of the aspects that I wanted to explain as a initiative or as a beginning session, so that you are familiar with the navigation aspects. Okay, then in this page, in the home page, you will see, like, these are again the same things which you see in the navigator. In the navigator, you have seen all the application related aspects, right? The work areas or workspaces. The same thing is available here also. So if you scroll to the right, you will see all those things which you could see here. The same things you will be able to see in this space also. So, you scroll to the right, you will at one point of, you will see the general accounting. See, here the general accounting is there, and the general accounting workbenches are also here. General accounting dashboard, journals, period close, all these are different work areas that you can access, and then in turn perform the respective tasks, subtasks under it. Okay, so this is again the same thing that you can see in the navigator. Okay, then if you scroll down in this particular homepage layout, you will see news and announcements. So basically, organization related news and everything would be there, or updates would be there. That can also be something that can be configured, and in turn it will be displayed under the news and announcements section. Okay, but not something that we will be looking at, as because we are purely concerned about the financial setups and transaction tasks. So we will be training on those aspects. But I'm just to make you familiar with this homepage, I'm just explaining these sections. Okay, news and announcement section is there. Okay, and then under here you are seeing the notification section. So you can see the notification from this bell icon, and even as a high level kind of display kind of aspect is provided for the notification, which will be displayed here additionally. Okay, so you can access the notification from here also. Okay, a few of the notification, the notifications will be displayed here as well. Then there are certain analytical sections where you will find certain analytical with respect to each of the work areas, like general accounting. There are certain accounting infolets. Now, what are infolets? Basically, infolets are kind of spaces which actually provide certain key information with respect to each of the functional areas. Okay, like with respect to general accounting tasks, there are certain key information aspects that can be displayed using this, that will be displayed under this infolets, which will give you certain key information, like certain reconciliation related information, like general related information. All these are some things that will be displayed under the infolet section. Okay, certain key informations. So this can be utilized as advanced analytical area which the respective people can utilize to analyze their certain key important aspects related to the business transactions. Okay, so this is just the parts that I wanted to explain as part of the navigation. Okay, now before we start using the application, okay, for the setup aspects or for the transactional aspect, we need to understand how the accesses work. Okay, how the access is particularly granted. So we have seen, right, there is a user ID and password, okay, using which I have logged into the instance. So how that user ID and password is created, that we need to understand. That is part of the security administration. Okay, similarly, we have seen that in this navigator, I can see different applications available. Now, this is not the same case for every employee. Not all employee will have access to all these aspects. Why? Because they are not supposed to get access to everything. There needs to be some security in place such that not all people can get access to everything. Okay, only the respective people who are supposed to perform certain tasks only get the access to those tasks and those applications. As an example, the general accounting department should get the access to what the general ledger application and the underlying tasks related to journals and period close and everything, they should get an access to. So how that can be managed as part of the security administration. Okay, similarly, an accounts payable accountant or an accounts payable manager should get the access to the the accounts payable application, right? And the underlying functions in each of those applications. So how that can be controlled? Okay, similarly, a person, an IT admin, okay, an admin user should get the access to what the setups and maintenance, right? Because he's as a functional consultant or as an IT administrator, we need to perform what? We need to perform the configurations. Now, that is also something which is controlled through certain accesses. Okay, not every employee will be a functional consultant. Not every employee will be an admin. Okay, some of them will be the department users. Some of them would be admin from the IT department who are supposed to do the setup, who are supposed to have the setup and the maintenance related activities. So the setup and maintenance, which we had a look at, right, which gives them the access to configure the application, those also need to be restricted. Only be given to those people who are supposed to do those activities. Okay, so that is again controlled through the security administration. So first of all, when we train on these applications, we need to understand the concepts of security administration. Okay, so security, as part of that security administration, we will understand who needs to get what kind of accesses and how can we provide those accesses. So first of all, a person who is an employee of the business should have an user ID and password. Only the employees of that particular business should have the user ID and password. So therefore, we will understand how to create a user and how to assign the user ID and the passwords. Okay, then we will see. Okay, then we will understand who all are the people who need to get a certain access. As I mentioned, right, general accounting people should get access only to the general ledger application. Accounts payable department employees should get only an access to the accounts payable application and the underlying tasks. So how is that managed? So that is all, something, though these are all the concepts that come as part of the security administration as a concept. So that is where we will understand those aspects first, okay, as part of our training. So today we don't have time to continue. Our time is going to complete for today's session. Okay, so that is where I will not start with that particular topic, but I have explained you to set the context. Okay, tomorrow we will start with the security administration related, setup and activities on which will determine how the accesses are granted to the application and to the even the environment. Okay, so we will have an understanding on those aspects tomorrow. But before that, to set the context of the security administration, I have explained this particular aspect, how the security administration or what are the concepts behind the security administration. Okay, basically it is all about who should get access and what kind of access they should get, how to control it. Those are the things that we will understand tomorrow. Okay, that's it for today. If you have any questions in general, you can ask, and also don't leave the session. Just give me one moment. You need to, I would like to, request you to please confirm your enrollments on Kumar's number. So yesterday that number had been shared. I believe all of you have that number. Okay, so please confirm your enrollments. Okay, because once you confirm your enrollments, only after that you will get the access to the instance. Okay, because since from tomorrow onwards we are going to train on how to do the configurations. First of all, we will see the security configurations, right? So how to do it, how the task can be performed, all these things you also need to practice simultaneously. Okay, so that is where you will need the access to the instance yourself. There will be a user ID and password and the instance details that will be shared to you. Okay, so in order to do that, we will need, first of all, you to confirm your enrollments. Okay, so please get in touch with Kumar, okay, and confirm your enrollments, and post that once you make the payments, also you will be receiving the link, the environment link, the instance link, as well as your user ID and password, which you can use to log into the application. So these things will be available to you once you confirm your enrollments. Similarly, you will get the access to recordings, everyday session recordings also, once you confirm your enrollment and make the required payments. So get in touch as quickly as possible today itself. And maybe tomorrow also one more session we will have as demo, so that you can get familiar and ensure that you are able to understand and make a decision whether to go ahead with the program or not. So maybe tomorrow also this particular session will be free. Okay, but then later on, day after tomorrow, for sure, we will not be allowing people who have not confirmed their enrollments. Okay, so please get in touch, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me now. If you have any kind of questions related to today's session, or for that matter, anything in general. Any questions?
Chandru, Kiran here. So,
Yes, Kiran.
apart from this modules, okay, what are the technical aspects will be covered under?
So technical aspects, as we mentioned, this is purely for a functional consultant role that we are training. Okay, but some of the technical aspects like security administration is kind of a technical aspect. Okay. Similarly, approvals, the approvals, how to configure it, those are covered as part of technical aspect. Okay. Similarly, some tools are there which we can use, okay, without any coding requirements. Okay. So that is also again something that will be covered as part of technical aspect. But anything which requires any kind of coding, like development of an application in the past, or developing a report, a custom report using the SQL, okay, those things will not be covered, because that is purely technical, pure technical tasks, you can say, and which is not our scope of training. We are purely training for functional aspects. As I mentioned, functional is a person or a role, job role, which is purely concerned with the configuration of the applications, whose duty is to do the configuration of the applications. Okay, which doesn't require any coding skills. Okay. Any questions? Any more questions? Anyone else? Hope this has been an informative session again for you guys, and hope to see you all in the coming days. So please get in touch with. I hope you have the number of Kumar. Please get in touch with him, confirm your enrollments, and after that, you will be added to confirm your enrollments by making payments, whatever is required by Kumar. Okay, and then you will be added to the WhatsApp group. Okay, for this batch, and also you will be shared the instance access. Okay, the ID and password as well, which you can utilize to log into the application and do the testings every day simultaneously when we perform the training. So every day we will be going through the training class, and after the training class you can do your own testings in accordance with the training class that we are going through. Okay, so please confirm as soon as possible. Thank you, guys. I hope there are no more questions. If there is, you can ask me. Okay, I hope everything is clear. Okay, so we will continue tomorrow again with the security administration. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.